Hey, what's happening, guys? Welcome back to another episode of Comic Book Weekly. And yes, I'm Mike Spider Slayer. We have Cat Comic Uno. And then over
Hello.
here, I have Brant, Only Good Comics.
What's up,
And all
everybody?
three of us are back. Sorry, guys. I missed out on last week's show, and it wasn't because we were talking about X-Men. It was literally because I was last minute. I got done with tennis, and I was invited to go out with my daughter, going homecoming dress shopping, and it took a lot longer than expected. We went out to eat. By the time I got home, it was like already show started. There was no way I can make it. So I'm here this week, happy to be here. And it's crazy because we don't have a
Any.
single news piece to talk about. There
None.
is no news
Nada.
that dropped this week. And so we're going to talk about like DC K.O. We're going to do a little bit of a question, a Q&A. So if you guys have questions for us, if you want to know a little bit about us, or if you have comic book questions, things like that, just let us know, and then we'll answer for sure. I mean, that's what we're here for, right? So might not be as long as the show as usual, but hey, we're here and regardless.
Yeah, no, we're excited to chat about comics. One thing I was telling Brant, and we could kind of start the conversation here because I see a lot of people talk about the comics they're getting next week. I'm getting a lot of comics tomorrow, which is, I think I have like 17 books. I'm like, man, I've been getting like 16, 17, 20 almost every week now. But we do have New Year's Eve and the holiday weekend where I feel like they're going to really screw up all the schedules because I'm like, I feel like we're going to get like 30 books, or at least for me, 30 books like in a week
You think
because
there's
of
going to
those
be that
schedules.
many at the end of the year? That's
Or the
I miss
beginning of January, I think it's going to shift there. I think we're going to like have a weird shift.
I miss the days of it actually having like no comics on Christmas and New Year's.
Well, I know New Year's Eve there's not as many. So that they are actually doing, but Christmas Eve they have just as many. And I don't know, every year, I mean, we've dealt with this before. I genuinely don't remember what they do. I don't remember if they release it before, they release it after Christmas. I genuinely don't remember. And like something like New Year's Eve, which is like a holiday, but also like the holiday of the night. I genuinely don't know if they're
Yeah.
gonna like what stores are gonna be open or not.
Yeah, I don't know. It's weird though. It's weird to not have comics that week. Like usually I know there's always the fifth week thing around the holidays, but again, it's I don't know. It's weird to not have anything, hardly anything for those 2 weeks. But
Yeah,
Um,
especially when you've been getting so much,
get right,
you
yeah.
know? I
It's been
mean,
overload, yeah.
there was like it always seems though, I don't know, the trend has been like the first week of the month, it's not too heavy, and then the second week is not bad, but then you get
really
like the
third.
third and the fourth weeks where it
Yeah.
tends to be like totally insane.
Yeah.
Like those are the weeks where I get like 27, 28 books, you know. I think
That's a lot.
tomorrow scheduled, I think what I have on my list, and this is not including what I put on my FOC. I have 21, but there's always extra based off of the FOC. I'm like, oh, I
Yeah.
forgot that I ordered this 4 weeks ago, you know?
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, I try to keep strict with my pull list though. I usually I'm not I used to be. I'm not one to like go on the shelves and be like, what's coming out? Because for the most part, I know what's coming out. I usually don't do that. I usually just get my pull. Sometimes there'll be like, Mike or Brant will recommend something and I'll be like, all right, I'll pick that up. Or like there's something like really showing in like the front desk of like, all right, I'll get that. But for the most part, I feel like I stick with my pull list.
I don't. I there's always something that I buy. Like it's just like it's one of
You
those
also get
things
old
where
comics too. You get a lot of back
yeah, I
issues.
get some back
Yeah.
issues or I get variant covers like
Right.
it's between like Spider-Man and Transformers, like those are the ones that I buy the most, you know? And even if it's a character that I don't normally always read all that much, if a cover looks cool, I'm gonna buy it. I it's just the art. That's what I'm attracted to about it. And I guess that's what always makes comics so much fun these days is because you don't have just one cover to choose from. You have
Yeah.
multiple covers. And if you like the artwork, of multiple covers and you have the money to buy it, then go ahead and buy it.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah, that's the thing between us all. I think you buy the most variants and stuff like that, and I've just never been super into like buying multiple copies, and that's just been my personal thing. It's mostly been
Yeah.
variances, but I totally agree with you though. Like if I had all the money in the world, like or enough to buy extra comics, I'd definitely be buying like every cover of GI Joe and all that stuff for sure. I'd be right there along with you. But sometimes you can't do it, and that's understandable. But yeah. Um, but it is cool that they have, like, variant covers and stuff to choose from because I'll usually get the cover that, like, speaks to me the most, I won't just, like, get the standard.
Especially like DC, I think does a pretty good job at that.
Yeah,
And honestly, Marvel, I'll give their flowers to the regard. Their variant covers are not more expensive. They're just the regular price for
yeah,
their variants. DC does make it an extra dollar, but also they have they make it better quality usually the cover Bs or cover Cs. But I usually like picking from there, and obviously it depends on the book, like DC and Marvel, the crossover book. I got a few variants for those, but I usually
You
try to stick with one.
you do get the cover A though in the
Mm.
interior of the book though.
True,
So
true, true, true.
you
Yeah,
get that still at least.
it's always weird to flip to it, but I understand the context of it. It's like, oh, like you're getting the bang for your buck for that.
yeah,
Right. Yeah, exactly.
yeah, for sure.
Yeah, for sure. But yeah, any other questions, guys? We'll answer some stuff. We got some people selling comics. Again, I saw people recommending some comics for tomorrow. They're excited.
Yeah,
Well, which we'll talk about in the most anticipated section.
of course,
Which I
yeah.
don't think though we have Superman versus Captain Atom. I'm gonna check to see if we have that in our anticipated because maybe we'll talk about it if we
I
don't.
think
And
yeah, I think
oh
it's a
no,
Mike's,
Mike
yeah,
has that, and I
yeah,
have Batman. So it looks like we're all excited for the same comics. It was hard to pick though. There's not a huge book out tomorrow. There's not like an issue 1, but there's a lot of good continuations of stuff.
Yeah, exactly. I know there was a lot of people when it came to talking about DC K.O. I mean, I guess we can talk about it, but like when people were like I was hoping that we would get more individual fights. And it's like, but you are getting that in those one-shot books that are going to be coming out. The thing is like you can't do everything. Like you can't do 32 or I should say 16 fights. That would just be way too much like overload when it came to the battling and the fighting. You know what I'm saying? So I think some people are a little bit upset with that. Um,
But
and
yeah,
it
what does
is
that look like you said? I think it's hard because it's not a TV show, right? And that is my criticism of
right.
DCKO, which is not a huge criticism because it's not a TV show. But like if you're watching Big Brother or like any competition show, you have a whole hour to eliminate one person. In this
yeah,
book, you eliminated half the fields in one issue, and you have
yeah,
to do that because it's a finite series.
Sure.
right,
And I
yeah,
give them credit for doing what they're trying to do.
Mm,
It's not an easy balancing act. You know what I'm saying? I
it's
think it's
ambitious.
difficult, but and I think people are a little bit frustrated with the bracket because they're like, oh, I thought we were going to get this and that. And I think in a way, if again, you're going to see some of those individual fights that took place or are taking place within those one shots. But if you showed every one, that might get a little bit old too, right? Do you
yeah,
want to
for
see
sure.
every single comic book just with one fight with two characters and that's it? I don't know. I don't know if that would get old, but that depends on the writer, on who writes it and whatnot. So
I think
that's
it's
Yeah,
tough.
hard because when you think about sports, right? Like we do watch the same. We'll talk about March Madness, but like you do watch the same teams kind of doing the same thing. But there is like drama. It's like, oh, this rival's going up against this rival. Oh, a seed 8 defeated a seed 1. I don't think DCK is doing that, but that's okay. Like, I don't think they're like Superman's to getting defeated and Star Sapphire is going to win, like we thought this event was going to be. Like in the beginning, where it's like, oh, it's going to be like more of a tournament of champions book, but now very easily you're realizing it's not. It's the stuff that they've been building up, and Superman is more story driven, which I rather than the KO fights because again, like it's not a TV show. I just don't know how you do it, and maybe the expectation. That's what's hard. It's like you can't meet the hype because it's like it was so high, but that doesn't mean that it's a bad quality book. I'm enjoying it.
Yeah, I don't know if anyone would really get into a book that was literally just a fight every issue, and okay, now I advance to fight you, and so on and so forth. I, you know, it's like in theory that sounds cool, and it's like fan service with who would beat who and all that kind of stuff. But when it's actually put into action, it just that would be boring, I think. And it's like even with like you said, sports has drama. If fights in UFC have drama. Even in wrestling, there's story behind like different tournaments and things that go on there. Even in like Street Fighter or Mortal Kombat, there's a backstory behind it all that kind of drives the narrative a little bit. So I think you need the story part of it, and I think it makes for a stronger story, in my opinion.
Yeah. We did have another question. We'll obviously talk more about DC K.O. when we talk about issue 2, but Jonas sir says, what do you guys think to keep restarting the Iron Man ongoing series? I mean, that's a bigger story about Marvel restarting all their ongoing series.
Yeah.
But I don't know. It's just what they do. You kind of just get used to it. Like if it's a good story, I don't mind. Like a good example, and we've talked about it here. And actually, a really good example is Spider Gwen because me and Brant were reading Spider Gwen in the previous volume, and we really like what Stephanie Phillips was doing. But then Mike bought it with this volume, and now you're enjoying it. So if it didn't get relaunched, you probably wouldn't have known that it was good, and you probably wouldn't have picked up that issue. And now you're along for the ride for Spider Gwen.
Yeah, I mean, it took a few issues, but it did deliver. Like I am enjoying it, which is nice, and that's what you want. You want a series to go on the upswing and after an issue 1 instead of a downswing, right? Like that's what you want. And I can say the same thing about when it comes to Black Cat. Black Cat's the same thing. Like I feel like Black Cat is not where it needs to be yet, but it continues to improve. And if I know you guys haven't read Poison Ivy, but that's what she did with Poison Ivy as well. Like she's continued to develop the character, add to the character, and I feel like she's in it for the long haul. Like that's what I'm getting at when I'm reading the Black Cat series.
Yeah.
And
I
that's G Willow Wilson in a whole. Like she does
Yeah,
that,
true.
obviously with Miss Marvel and everything.
Yeah. I think with Iron Man specifically, I mean, it's part of that, Marvel just wants to have the new number ones and to bring in, people that, maybe didn't check out that previous volume and stuff, and sales are always bigger for issue ones. But I think it's also with Iron Man specifically, I don't I don't know that any of the recent volumes have like done as well as they had hoped. I mean, that's just me on the outside looking in and not enjoying a lot of it. I maybe they just don't have creative teams that commit to a longer run. I don't know, what the issue with Iron Man specifically is.
I mean, I would say that when was the last time? I think we talked about this recently. I like the Matt Fraction run, right?
Yeah.
Was probably
Right.
the most recent long ongoing series that we had. There was a bunch of different ones that came out, but they never lasted all that long. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? So like I don't know. And then you had like Superior Iron Man, like they're all a bunch of mini series. The last one with like Emma Frost and
Mhm.
and everybody else, like that one was good too, but it wasn't like a long lasting series. And you're just seeing that with Marvel though across the board, like everything is
Yeah.
starting over. So,
Yeah.
Miles Morales, I think, is the longest ongoing series out there.
I
Yeah. Huh.
I was just gonna say I wonder with characters like Iron Man and Captain America, etc. If it's because they're always in the middle of events and they don't want to tie them up too long.
But
And
look at
like,
Fantastic Four, where they had an event and now they
yeah,
have another series and they're not
that's
really
true.
connected.
Yeah, that's absolutely
But
true.
also that's a problem, their events, not the,
Mhm.
right. That's the problem that they're not doing much
It's
with
just
them.
weird. It's like I don't feel like there was no reason to slap a new number one on it. It's just odd. You know what I'm saying? Like it kind of connected to One World Under Doom before it ended.
Mhm.
And it's still kind of connected to One World Under Doom when it restarted. So
Yeah.
it's it's weird that way, you know?
Well, especially when it's the same creative team. That's when again, it worked out in the Spider-Gwen, the circumstance that Mike jumped on because of it. But for them, and I guess Fantastic Four too. I guess there's obviously a marketing reason because none of us were reading Fantastic Four, even though people are like,
That's
it's
true.
great. But we're
Yeah.
like, oh, I read the first issue, I didn't love it. And now I'm reading
Mhm.
it now. And I'm like, whoa, okay, it actually is great. So I mean, there
Yeah.
is a marketing tactic to it because it is hard to jump into a 30 issue book and be like, I'm going to start here. But yeah, I mean, as someone who's reading the series ongoing, it is also hard to see Ryan North on like 3 volumes of Fantastic Four, and you're like, well, this is the same series. Why is there 3 volumes?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, with seasoned comic readers, though, they know that, the stories are told in arcs. So they could just pick up at an arc instead of a number one issue. So, but at the same time, like you just said, and you illustrated with Fantastic Four, we all fall for it. So, I mean, maybe they're doing it right.
Well, especially with you guys, you do your issue 1 series, so maybe we're
Yeah.
also bad examples, I guess, because
That's
like we are
true.
going to pick up the issue 1s because we're reviewing them. But
Right.
Uh, yeah, it's interesting. We do have another comment here, another question. You guys keep coming with the questions. Again, we don't have any news, so this is our news section. We got Scott Roth, who says, do you all get comics for the art or the story? I prefer the art over the story, and we'll follow the specific artist. I'll say, and I don't want to speak for everybody, but I think if you like forced us to have an answer, I think all of us would say the story. But I also don't think a comic is a comic without art. So like I would want both to be good. But if I had to pick one, I always say story.
I- I mean, I will mainly go for story, but if the art is really bad, I can't get
It's
into the
hard.
story.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
It definitely takes you out of it.
I think there has to be a little give and take, right? Like if it's fantastic art, but the story's so, sometimes I can live with that. More times I can live with so art and a really good
Yeah,
story.
I
Um,
agree.
so yeah, the story is. I don't want to say anything. Either one's more important. That's the beauty of comics that they work together in tandem to create a
Mhm.
completely unique medium.
I think
Yeah.
the reason why for me for I pick story over art in that regard, but again, like you need both, is just because I could buy a cover for really good art, right? Like I
Absolutely,
will
yeah,
buy a good cover for really good art. So I don't know if I need to read all the sequentials to get great art, but for a
yeah,
really good story, I kind of need to read the book, right?
yeah. It also depends on what kind of consumer you are. If you just
Mm,
like to look at the beautiful art, then you're going to buy for the art. If you
mm,
really like to read the comics, then you're going to buy for the story.
Yeah, I think they go hand in hand. And I
Mhm.
think sometimes when you have poor artwork, the story has to be phenomenal to carry, right?
Yeah.
And then sometimes when the story's not that great, it's vice versa. It's like sometimes the art has to be phenomenal, right? So
Mhm.
like if you say for instance like you had Rook Exodus and you had a particular artist, I'm not going to name any names because I don't want to insult anybody, but if you had a particular
We all know who
artist,
you're thinking of. But go
yeah,
ahead.
right, one that does Spider-Man, but do Rook Exodus, how would you think that comic book would look? Do you think it would get as many readers,
No,
right?
Absolutely
and
not.
I think
Yeah.
that's the success of Ghost Machine in particular is the
Mhm.
art. Like, I think this, from what I hear from you guys, stories are great, but like, I think the art is really selling those books.
Yeah. Yeah. Which, I mean, again, is a hallmark of Image in general, so, I mean, that's
Right.
since day one. No, I completely agree with you, Mike. It's like if Rook did not have that art, I mean, it wouldn't matter how good the story is, I think.
I can only imagine. Oh
Oh,
my god.
I don't wanna imagine.
But
Or
yeah, I
even
mean,
Geiger.
Yeah.
and
Any of
that
those
was
books, yeah.
successful as Ghost Machine poached all these artists that like people really knew and loved, and they're like, oh, do you
Yeah.
want to do an indie thing now?
Or
Yeah.
just in general, like look
Exclusively
at
for them.
Transformers. Like look at the detail that goes into Transformers when they transform and how like Daniel Warren Johnson or Jorge Corona like brought those characters to life, and even
Mhm.
Dan Mora at this point, only 2 issues in, like you need a particular artist that puts that detail in there. And I will say this for Iron Man as well. I really dislike an artist that doesn't put the work or the effort into Iron Man because what is Iron Man? He is this
Yeah.
awesome suit and you love all those armors and you love the detail that goes into that. And if you don't have the artist to do that, then I just don't think I don't think the book is going to hit its mark there.
Yeah. Okay. I was just gonna real quick add. I think it depends on the type. Like if it was an all ages story, I'd be okay with like a simpler style for like an Iron Man. But
Different. Yeah.
if you're talking main continuity and all that stuff, show
Yeah.
me every little groove of that armor, every little detail of the tech and everything. Yeah. Go ahead, Kat.
Yeah, no, I agree. And like Dave Marquez was a good example of that.
Yeah.
He did the Iron Man book with Brian Michael Bendis, which is kind of crazy to say because I hardly remember that run, but I remember the art. Like that's something that's so interesting. We were just talking about story trumps arts and time, but then I'm like, oh no, I didn't even remember that series until I thought of like the grooves of David Marquez's art.
Yeah.
We do have a question here, which is interesting because I don't know if we could relate to this question but because we review comics. But Scott says, how many unread issues do you get before deciding to drop it? So like obviously a lot of people like collect their books and like let it pile up and you're like, oh, I actually don't like it because I haven't been reading it. But for us, I don't think we really do that because we read all our books by the end of the week for the most part. So I don't think I can relate on that one.
I would say there are a handful of books that I have done that with where maybe I liked the concept or I liked the artist or writer or whatever reason. I picked up a book and maybe I read a few pages or maybe I didn't even get to it. And then I'll keep buying it out of habit. And then I realize I'm not reading this. I don't like it. It has happened a few times, not that often, to be honest. But I honestly, in that case, I'd say 2 or 3 issues. I mean, 3 or 4 issues probably would be like a telltale sign. Maybe try it, maybe read an issue and be like, yeah, I don't like this. And then
I'm more Garner on if I just am bored or I'm not excited to read a book. Like I'm like, rolling my eyes at a book. I'm like, all right, it's probably time not to pick it up if I'm rolling my eyes and don't want to read it.
Yeah, for sure.
I should also.
I was sorry. I was on your point. If it keeps dropping down your pile, like, oh, I'm gonna put that one off. Yeah, this is time to go.
I do want to mention this to Tevia. Favorite comics for Marvel, DC, Indie for 2025. We're definitely going to do that closer to the end of the year. I am almost certain we'll do a whole episode about that. So
for sure,
wait and see for that.
When it comes for me, there's not too many comics that I like pass.
Yeah.
Like I pretty much read every single book that I get. The only reason why I wouldn't read it is one, if I just ran out of time, or there's a book that I forgot to actually buy,
Yep.
But for the most part, I read them all. And then if there's a book that I don't like, I just tend not to buy it next time around. Or there's one other thing is that my shop will not carry it anymore. So it's like sometimes it's a book where I'm like, oh, do I give it another try? And it's like, okay, I'll give it another try. But it's not good enough to put on my pull list. And then what happens is my shop, I guess, doesn't think it's good enough for them to carry. So I'll go to the shop. I'll see if they have it. And if they don't have it, then it's an automatic drop.
Yeah. Another thing that happened for me, and it probably ties into what I was saying before, is when I was getting books through DCBS, you'd have to order like 2 or 3 months in advance. And so I would order multiple issues of a series without having read a single issue. And so then I'm kind of stuck with 2 or 3 issues of a book that maybe I don't like. And so I have to get it. And then it's like, okay, now I can drop it, so that has happened a few times as well.
We have a couple more questions here. So Team NT asks if you played Marvel Cosmic Invasion. I don't even know what that is, believe it or not. I guess I'm out of the loop.
It's on Steam.
Okay.
Yeah.
And is it, have you heard any? Because I'm guessing your son probably played.
It looks like a side scroller. That's what it reminds me of.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I've not been
Look
on
at that
Steam in a
from
while.
the guy that doesn't play games,
Right?
and I still know about it.
I mean, you have at least the connection to the gamer and the household.
I do.
So that helps a little bit more. I have the Call of Duty I'm playing. That's about it.
I'm WWE and Fortnite pretty much. Yeah.
We had another question about movies, but I don't know how many movies did you guys see this year? What was your favorite movies from this year? I feel like you guys watch the superhero movies. But were
I
there
I
anything
did.
else?
I saw all those. I just saw Wicked. I saw
Okay,
Oh, you
that.
nice.
have? I haven't seen that yet.
Yeah, no, it was really good. It's really good. I liked it better than the first one.
Oh, yeah.
Wow, that's
Yeah,
something to say. That's
yeah,
crazy. That's
yeah.
cool
I
though. It
did.
shows different perspective. I saw the play, so I already knew. I mean, I knew what the
Right.
first one's gonna be too, but
Mhm.
I knew all the twists of the second one because I've seen the
I just
play. So
liked how like it all connected. I think
Mhm.
it was like for me, it was like because I never saw Broadway, I never saw
Yeah,
any
me
of it
either.
before.
Yeah.
And so it literally all connects. And it was like figuring out that puzzle where the pieces go. And I was like, oh my God, that's amazing. And I just like how this movie was like darker than the first one. And I liked it a lot. I thought it was brilliant. So brilliantly made. I think Ariana Grande, and this is just like I think she is one of the most brilliant singers that
no,
there
she's
is. I
great.
think
Oh,
she is
yeah.
very
She's
talented,
fantastic.
and when
Yeah.
she sings, like, her little poppy songs and all that stuff, I always say, "This girl is not even trying," you know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? So I'm happy that she decided to do Wicked and to showcase, like, her true talents on what she can do.
Yeah.
Well,
And she
especially
Yeah.
because
really is
she's
an amazing
changed her
singer.
voice a lot for this movie too. Like she
Yeah.
went Broadway, which was cool. But yeah, no,
Right.
I like the first one a lot more because there's some story beats I don't agree with here. But I'm glad that people it became such a phenomenon. It was. It is so funny. Zootopia 2, people were going freaking crazy for that one. Either way, bringing people to the movie theater is important. And I think Thanksgiving weekend in particular, I just saw so many people go to see Wicked or Zootopia of all things. But like, yeah, it's just so cool to see people going to the movies.
Speaking of which, I'm so mad. All the tickets sold out for Stranger Things, like, before I could even
Oh
get to the website.
no.
Yeah,
I
so
didn't even think about that. They're all sold out already for the AMC stuff.
there
The
we
the
don't we only have 2 theaters near us that are even
Um,
carrying it, and they're
Well,
both,
okay, so
yeah.
it's the same for me too.
Yeah.
So
I'm gonna
it's
look.
like I live in Sanford, right?
Mhm.
And so in Central Florida, which is probably from Universal, it's a good 30 minutes
Yeah.
from here. And that's the only theater that's playing it. So I was like,
That
well,
sucks.
shit. I guess now I'm just gonna have to
Mhm.
watch it at home.
Yeah,
I'm
we have 2 theaters in San Antonio, which are about I think they're about 33 miles from us, where these 2 theaters are, and those are the only 2 near us that are carrying it all, and
Yeah.
they had very limited showings for the first day, like 2 or 3 showings at each
Yeah.
theater, and then the next day,
Hmm.
they had a few more showings, but they all sold out by, like, 10 AM today.
That's crazy. Yeah, I'm
Yeah,
looking. It seems like it's only 200 theaters that are
yeah.
doing it. So that's like kind of sucks.
So real quick, did you guys watch Stranger Things?
I did,
I
and it's funny. Oh, we all did.
Yep.
We won't give
Yeah.
spoilers, but
Right.
what was funny was that me and my brother we were just like, which we don't watch TV that often together, but he's like,
Mhm.
I want to watch Stranger Things with you because like it's a show we had in common. So we're like, yeah, let's watch it. And then my parents were also in the room, and they're like, I've never seen the show in my life. I'm like, oh, sit down, watch it, like whatever. And they got invested to it, and it was like really easy to explain the show to them, which they're not ones to be like, I know like they did not like everything everywhere at once because it was too confusing for them.
Yeah.
Like it was so interesting that they were able to get into the show without watching anything previously and understand what was going on. So I
That's
thought that
so
was very cool.
that's so funny because my cousin, who's about 5 years younger than me, her kids kind of talked her into watching it and, like, kind of binging it a little bit and then
Mhm.
watching the new stuff, and she posted on Facebook the other day, she was like, "I am utterly confused. Somebody give me a synopsis
That's so
where,
funny.
pretend like I'm a 5-year-old, explain this to me. I don't know what's going on." I thought that was hilarious.
It was good though. I think it's hard that there's only the 4 episodes because
Yeah.
like it's paced as a season, right?
Mhm.
Even no matter how you're releasing it. So there's definitely slower parts as we get to episode 3 and 4. But then episode 2 was great. So I like the characters. It's a fun show, and I hope there's another show that could be as much of a
Oh, yeah.
worldwide phenomenon
Yeah.
as Stranger Things.
What'd you think of the new Holly?
I like
I
I really
oh yeah,
like
go on.
Go ahead, Kat. Yeah.
No, I was gonna say like I usually don't like when they recast characters just for the sake. I'm like, oh no, this actually made sense for the story. I could totally overlook
Sure.
that she's
Yeah.
older because it's like a good story.
Yeah. I thought she was a pretty good she was pretty good in her role.
Mm. Mhm.
Especially when Max. Well, I don't want to spoil it, but yeah,
Max got some
especially
stuff maybe going
yeah,
on because she's
maybe
in the season.
yeah, of course.
So
So yeah, I thought it was fantastic. I love this show. It's one of my favorite shows of all time. It's so good. It's nostalgia, and you had a lot of arcs going on in this, and you had a lot of progression for a lot of the roles in this one as well. And I just think they did a really good job. And I'm really curious how they're going to wrap it up. There's like a lot of speculation on who's going to die and all this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
I just
They
wonder
just
if they're gonna
announced
do
a
a time
spinoff.
jump.
Yeah,
Yeah, they well, is it
Nancy.
Nancy?
Yeah,
I didn't know if it was a TV show or a book though. I heard it might
I
be a
don't know.
book, the
Yeah.
spinoff. I think I
Mm,
read the article and it was like a book and it was just like between
okay.
season 4 and season 5, which I'm like, oh, you really
Uh,
hid because I remember looking at them like they have a Nancy spinoff. What's going on
yeah,
there?
that's
Because
So
I
pretty
love
cool.
let me
Nancy.
ask you this. So what did you think of, or are you for Will or were you against Will at the end?
Oh, I like that. I've been waiting for something. He finally. It's
He's like an
debatable.
X-Men.
Yeah, it's debatable
Yeah.
on like how it happened, all that stuff. But I've been waiting for him to like shine for the longest time, and I think now this is his moment, right? Hopefully, he doesn't die.
Yeah.
I hope for the best with Will. I think it's
Yeah.
hard because the actor has been a little he's been, little things have happened there, which I
Oh,
won't dive
really?
into, but
Okay.
nothing like I mean, it's stuff, but
Gotcha.
it makes him a little bit more unlikable as an actor. So like it's a lot of
Mm,
people have been really hating the character. Um
okay.
and people are like, he's the worst actor ever. And I'm like, I could try separating the art with the artist, right? Like
Sure.
I'll
Yeah.
be like, oh, I don't
Absolutely.
think he's
Yeah.
the best actor on the show, but I would
No.
still follow Will's journey, even if I don't agree with the actor, you know?
Mm,
What do
okay.
you think of the CGI in it? There's a lot of CGI in this
For a
so
TV
far.
show, I thought it was, pretty good. I mean, there's
Yeah.
nothing jarring. I think it's been pretty solid.
And
Yeah.
Vecna, what did you think of him this time
Oh
around? This
man.
like upgraded version or his
Yeah.
reformed version or whatever, I guess you want to say?
There was a part where when he came into play where there was a certain sergeant that was supposed to protect some kids, and he did not do that job, and something happened to his face, and that was pretty cool.
Oh yeah, I remember that
You know what
part
I'm
that you're
talking
talking
about?
about. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I was like,
And
okay,
so when I first started watching, it's not really a spoiler, it's just a person that's in it. When I saw Sarah Connor in there, I'm like, wait a second.
Right. I didn't even
yeah.
notice that
I'm
was
like, that's
her.
Oh, I
Sarah
did.
Connor from T2. And like,
Yeah.
it's so dumb because my kids didn't even know who that person was. And I don't even think my wife realized who it was,
He
but I
looks
was the
very
only one.
different though, because that was the thing. Like
Yeah.
I had to look her up. I'm like, I've seen her from somewhere. And I'm like, oh, that's where I've seen her from because she
Oh, I
looks
knew. I
very
knew
different.
immediately. Yeah.
That's so
Oh, she
funny. Yeah,
does. Yeah, she
yeah.
does.
Because
Lisa
she
didn't
also has a
really.
different look, like
Yeah.
completely. She has a different hairstyle, a different haircut. She's older. Like there's definitely a lot that's different.
The hair, it's a wig that she's wearing.
That
Yeah.
Ah.
makes sense.
I actually saw it. I saw a reel on it. So it's not her real hair.
That makes sense. 'Cause that's the thing that kept throwing me off. I'm like, what's with that hair? I don't like who is that? But no, I love having a show that's just like kind of you're glued. Like there isn't that many, even if it's slower, it's not boring. It's good action, it's good character, and I think they balance the ensemble well. And again, I just like that there's a show all three of us could be like, yeah, I watched it. And
Yeah.
we're not always the fastest to watch TV. So
Yeah. This is
so to
Yeah,
like
say we
exactly.
all
When it
watched
came to
it the
Stranger
same
Things,
week.
though, I
Yeah.
was at 8 o'clock
Me
yeah.
that
too.
night. We
Me
were
too.
watching it.
You
We
watched all
watched the
4?
no, we
Alright.
watched 2
Me
episodes one
too,
night
me too.
and then 2 episodes
Same.
the next night.
Yeah.
Same.
Same.
I think that's a good balance. I mean,
Yeah.
when you get the finale, it's gonna be like a 5-hour showing just for the 2 episodes.
Right.
At
Oh, I
least with,
know.
with the 4, they weren't much longer. It was like maybe the most, I think it was an hour and a half, which was
Yeah.
like the finale.
Yeah. That last episode is 2.5 hours. I think the one that's in the
Yeah,
day.
for the very
Yeah.
last. It's gonna
Yeah, that's
be
gonna be
Lord of the
long.
Rings
Yeah,
style.
Yeah.
exactly.
Lisa watched something that they were saying it was like basically filming 3 feature length films was the season, and like the budget was huge and all this stuff. So, but yeah, this is like the biggest like cultural phenomenon since Harry Potter, I would say.
Yeah, no, it's or
That's
Game of
crazy.
Thrones maybe,
Or
but
Game of
Game of
Thrones.
Thrones.
Yeah,
But also
that's
Game of Thrones had a different. Only older people could watch it. Stranger
right.
Things, like I won't say kids are watching it, but teenagers
Right.
watch it. You know, there's like I think a bigger gap of people that can
Yeah,
watch this show.
for sure.
And
Mhm.
then because of the different generations, you have the parents, and then you have the kids, you have the teenagers. I think it there's a group for everybody, which is helpful as well.
Yeah.
But it's good stuff. I think that brings us to I'll show some Kickstarters, but then after that, I think we'll get to some comic books. I will show you guys. We have Witching Season. I'm gonna screen share. You guys, we were talking about Wicked. If you like Wicked, we do have Witching Season, which is Glenda and the Wicked Witch finally getting together. We get to see them in Kansas. So if you like the Dorothy stuff in that movie, we learned a little bit about Dorothy in this comic. So hopefully you guys could check that out. And then I'm going to switch to Moloch, which is written by David Boer, who wrote Specs, a book we really all liked here, Rain, Ghostbusters. So if you're looking for like a Constantine, Hellboy type book, I recommend this one. It's fun. So those are the two series we have. And now I think we are going to jump into our comics for the week.
Yes, guys. So we're gonna talk about DC K.O. We started talking about DC K.O. a little bit earlier, obviously, and but real quick, like overall, the issue I thought was fun. I had a blast reading the issue from start to end. I loved Superman. I love his interactions with Lex Luthor, what happens to Superman in here, the powers that he acquires, the whole we're chasing for certain things that are in the DC universe. Like,
Yeah.
I absolutely loved this comic book. I thought it was so much fun. And I'm looking forward to more, and I'm looking forward to the single battles. Like, I'm looking forward to all that stuff. So overall, it was a good book, and I'm looking forward to issue 3. So what I want to know from you guys, what is the best thing about DCKO that you like?
I like that it's tied into the other books, but it doesn't feel like it's interrupting other stories. Like I think it ties in very nicely. Like I like that Superman led into this. DCKO is a book in general. I think it's a little early to tell because I just don't know where the story is going. But I would say the art and the action I think is probably what I like the most about it. But I can't tell where it's going, so I don't know about the main series yet. But I know
I feel like it has stakes. Like it feels like
yeah.
Yeah.
it built up to it. I felt like these characters are, as of right now, I feel like their backs are against the wall. There's this mission in place, and they feel like the villains are a threat. And like that scene with Joker when he was huge and he was eating, who was he eating? He was eating a particular character, and it's like
Was
the
it Star
parental
Sapphire?
advisory, huh?
Was it Star Sapphire? I genuinely don't remember.
I can't remember.
But I know
When it
he
was.
battled. Let's see. Yeah, I don't remember either. If you guys remember in the comments, you probably have a better memory than we do.
Yeah.
But
Are you finished with
I
your
couldn't
thought,
find
Mike?
it.
I was gonna.
Yeah,
I,
go ahead.
I didn't want to interrupt you.
No, you're good.
I like in the way that War of the Realms was for Marvel. I like that it feels like it's universe wide. It feels like kind of piggybacking off what you said, Mike, with the stakes, the high stakes, and everything.
Yeah.
It just feels like it's interconnected throughout the entire DC universe. This actually means something. It's affecting everyone and everything, and everybody has a role in it, and it feels epic. And I like that. Pair that with really solid storytelling, great character moments, beautiful, like gorgeous artwork. I mean, it's knocking it out of the park for me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, there's a lot of things to like in there, and I just feel like for an event book, I feel like it's pretty good so far. Like, when you look at DC compared to where they were at before All In happens, we were like thinking they were like how Marvel kind of is right now, and then all of a sudden they change, and they come up with this initiative, and then they come up with this story, and I feel like it's done a great job. And, even though it might not quite be what we expected, where it's like this plain out, drag them out bracket style,
Hmm.
it's kind of gimmicky, that the bracket, right? But
Sure. Yeah.
nevertheless, it's fun.
Yeah. And you're still getting some of that, right? Like
Yeah,
you're getting just enough of that. I think like Exquisite Corpses, it's set up as a tournament as well. You're not getting straight on fights between these killers. It's kind of
right.
spread out. You're getting a story, you're getting characters and character arcs and all that stuff, just like here. And
Yeah.
again, uh, go ahead, Kat.
I was because I just don't think this medium could work in that way, right? Like
Exactly.
again,
Yeah.
if
That's
it's
basically
like if it's a reality TV show, you could do something like that
it.
because you're just kind of waiting for what you're used to. Like you just like a structure and you like that structure. That's why you're watching it. For
Yeah.
comics, it's always about the cliffhanger. That's like what comics have been built on. It's like telling a full story and then like what's next, So like to have I don't know, to have just a straight up battle, I don't think it quite makes sense. And there's so many characters, but I think the way they're doing it is as smart as you can.
Yeah. I mean, as the characters get kind of dwindled down a little bit,
Then you'll
you're
get
gonna
more
see they're
battles.
gonna
Yeah.
have more moments. But
Mm.
again, this is a Superman and like Superman centric event, and who got the spotlight in this
Of course.
issue? It was Superman and Lex Luthor. Like they're the ones
Mhm.
who really got the spotlight here.
I think the
So
one negative, and I hope I'm wrong, is I think the winner is obvious. I do think it's gonna be Lex, and I don't
that's who
love
I picked
that.
to win the whole thing.
Yeah, and honestly, now after reading issue 1 and 2, I think it's pretty obvious just because if you've read Superman, you kind of get that vibe. I don't think it'll be Superman because that'd be freaking boring. But also, I will say they picked some pretty, I won't say boring picks, but they picked the obvious ones. Like if
Mhm.
you look at the chart, it's not the ones I would have went for all of them. Like having Wonder Woman, Batman, kinda, and he will come back into the tournament, and Superman all go forward in the first round. It's just kind of boring. Like you want, again, when you watch the March Madnesses, you watch any of these shows, you want a seed 1 to get dethroned. That's the point.
Mhm.
Because then you get the underdog to do something. And I guess maybe that's the Lex Luthor point. But I think that's my only complaint is that they really only have the big dogs and like the little dogs have not shined at all.
Yeah.
I do like how they had to go for certain powers to make it to the point where
Yeah.
certain ones will go forward, like Harley. Like obviously they had to buff her in order to, for her
Right.
to
Of
move
course.
on, right?
Yeah. I like
And
that
then
element too. Yeah. 'Cause
right, and then same with like Lobo, like he was facing Starro in that one,
And
and
then one more
Starro,
face.
he's a very powerful character when you really think about it, right?
Yeah.
But to him to get the venom, I thought that was pretty insane, and like
Yeah.
he rips it off, and he's like, "The best thing about me is I can regrow," and I was just thought, "Oh yeah, that's hilarious,"
Yeah.
There was
Yeah.
good moments there,
It's
man.
got all kinds. I mean, it's got the drama, it's got the comedy, it's got everything in it, man. It's just a good story. But yeah, I would have loved to have seen like Supergirl win it.
Yeah.
There's history with her and Darkseid, and going back to Michael Turner stuff and
But
that kind of thing.
she
But
sacrificed herself though,
yeah, so
so
Yeah, she didn't move forward at all, right?
no, I
Power
don't think
Girl
so.
and her didn't move up forward.
yeah.
That's like,
Yeah,
and I get it, but it's also it's a little boring. And then there's some characters like Black Lightning didn't move forward, Vixen didn't move forward. I was like, oh man.
I don't even
They were
remember seeing Vixen to tell you the truth.
I just know she
like
didn't
really
move forward because of
briefly.
the
Yeah,
chart. Yeah. And then
Yeah.
obviously same thing for Star Sapphire. I think she showed up for like a second. Firestorm we were rooting for. I'm like, I wanted like one underdog.
yeah,
The underdog doesn't have to win it, but at least can they move forward from the first round?
right. Yeah. So if there's
And that's
nitpicks,
kind of
that's
the thing,
definitely it. Yeah,
like you said, like they're making it all chaotic and people are just
Right.
falling off the board like super quick, and it's just the initial here's who's in the tournament, and then quickly they're just all diminishing,
And there's
Yeah.
other ones who are going to join because you have Homelander and Annabelle and all those other ones that
Yeah.
are going to get involved
Oh
in
yeah,
some
I
way.
forgot
So
about that.
I did
I
too.
wanna
I
see-
completely
I
forgot
can't
about
wait
that.
for that,
I
man.
hope
Oh,
Annabelle
man.
wins. Imagine a
Oh
doll
my
wins the
God.
whole thing.
I want Samantha the Bear to pull that stuff out, man, because she's a
That's true.
sick individual. Her, can you imagine? Like, I know you guys don't really read the series, but I can imagine her going against Joker. Like she's
I can see
just
Oh
that.
man,
as sick
yeah,
and demented, you
Well,
know?
I
yeah.
would love to see a character, not a DC character, win. That'd be never happen.
Nope,
Wouldn't that
yeah,
be
it's never gonna
crazy?
happen, but that would be
It's
crazy. Yeah,
it's like
Uh,
actually made an IDW character.
yeah, that'd be crazy.
all right, well, let's move forward here. Let's talk about Skinbreaker issue 3 here. So Brant and I read this book, and so when it comes to Skinbreaker, it literally now has basically gone full circle. We're
Hmm.
basically where we at the end of issue 1.
Yep.
Um,
And this
you
is a
know,
maxi series, correct? It's 12
yeah,
issues.
it's
Okay.
8 issues, yeah.
8 issues.
And
Okay.
so now the chieftain that was a young warrior at the beginning, his time is basically has come, and now he's going to get challenged by the other guy. So I have a feeling he's going to prevail.
Yeah, I do too.
If I had to guess this time around, the artwork continues to be beautiful in this book, and I do like how he's trying to change the village, how he's trying to be smarter about capturing their prey and trying to like do irrigation and all those different things, and like I like the book. I think it's great. I don't think it's like the strongest Robert Kirkman story I've ever read, but artistically, it's absolutely beautiful. And again, it's a mini series or a maxi series, whatever you want to call it, but it is a decent read, and it does have me intrigued to see like how is it going to end.
Yeah, and I like that they lean into stuff like the most of the tribe is, hesitant to change, and they're kind of stuck in their ways, and they're afraid of like new methods and all that kind of stuff, and and he's trying to, like you said, introduce better ways that are safer for the people and everything, and he's getting a lot of blowback for that, and thus we come to this issue with the challenge and everything. But I agree with you; it's a solid story. It's not like the best book on the stands or anything like that, but I am enjoying it so far.
Cool. All right. So next we're going to talk about the Infernal Hulk issue 1. So we were talking about Marvel
Right.
obviously rebooting their stuff over and over again, and this really shouldn't be a reboot because this is basically a continuation. You got the same writer, you got the same creative team.
Just a new character. I think that's the only thing I'll give them is that this is
Yeah,
not
it's a new
Bruce.
character, but it's still like has Hulk attached to
Yeah,
it, right?
I'll I'll
Go
I'll
ahead.
defend this one just because he's calling this his second act, and if he's doing
Mhm.
3 acts, I
It's
could
like
understand it
Thor.
being different volumes or 4 acts, whatever it is. I could understand it being different volumes, but yeah, it to your point, it is, what they
Yeah.
always do.
It's like Mortal Thor. It's kind of in that same
Right, right.
thing, the way Al Ewing is telling that story.
Yeah.
Um, but overall though, I mean, listen, when it came to this book, I thought it was really good. I mean, I thought it was like the action was really good, the artwork was really good. You got Philip Kennedy Johnson, who now has signed an exclusive deal with Marvel, and so this one comes out of the gate, you know, fantastic. My only issue with this book or a series, I should say, is it going to run into the same problem that it did before, where the series tend to drag on too long? uh you're going to get the artist change where Nick Klein is not always on the artwork. Like,
Mhm.
is it going to suffer through the same things? And that's what I'm afraid of. But as a first issue, I thought it was so well done. I love the action in it. I love how he transformed the soldiers into these zombies. He rose this city from the ground, and it was just like just intense. And then at the end, it looked like that was Bruce Banner there, kind
Yeah.
of just
Whatever
there,
he's doing.
Yeah.
So yeah, I liked it.
I like the action. I thought was pretty good. It didn't make my top 5 because I want to know more about this person, this character, because I don't know if it pulled at the heartstrings in any way. But as an
Mhm.
action issue, it was good. Also, I've been reading the rest of the series, so I was just like, oh yeah, it's another issue of the series that I've been
Yeah,
reading.
see?
That just is an action issue, Like
So what
I don't know if it felt much different.
so how would you feel though for like how would a new reader take this?
Well,
I think
see,
oh,
Oh,
there
you
you
were
go.
the
Yeah,
new
yeah, go
reader.
that
ahead.
was the
Yeah.
new reader. If you wanna
So
know
how
how I
did
took
you
it.
take it?
So, I actually really enjoyed this issue, and
Right.
I think I had read the first issue of the previous run, and then
Yeah,
I
you didn't
dropped
read
it.
much of it. I remember
Yeah,
that.
yeah, it
Yeah.
was either the 1 issue or 2 issues, or like 1.5, something like that.
You
And
halfway through issue 2 is like, I can't
yeah,
read this.
I that might have been the case, yeah. But anyway, so I went in this with an open mind, trying to, putting all my, criticisms aside and all that stuff. And I don't know what it was about this particular story that kind of won me over, but I don't know. There was something about it that felt different to me, and the way that this whole like monster land rose up, it felt. And maybe it's because I was watching Stranger Things and it kind of reminded me of what was going on there and all that
Maybe
stuff.
you were in the
But
mood for it.
yeah, maybe. But it felt very like Lovecraftian. You have all these ancient gods and monsters and all this kind of stuff kind of rising up, and that felt very different to me. And the fact that they're separated and they're completely different beings and stuff was interesting to me. So I wasn't as pulled to like the character that this new character Bridger or whatever, because
Yeah.
we didn't get enough of him to care that much
Right.
about him.
Yeah.
Um, but at the same time, I do think that's interesting because it does seem like he's going to play a larger role going forward. Um, but then the appearance of Bruce, like you all were talking about at the end, it's like, okay, so we're not just leaving him out. He's got something to do with this and everything. So I don't know. I thought it was really interesting. It didn't quite make my top 5, but it's just under. Um,
Did
and that's a win for me. So yeah,
Mhm.
did you get who like the Hulk actually was?
I knew enough about like the green or the whatever it was from the previous stuff, just from you talking about it, you two talking about
Oh,
it.
okay.
I knew some. I don't exactly understand it, but I know like there's this. I know it wasn't just Banner. It was like this whole other thing that's like kind of living underneath or something that's ancient being or something like that. I don't know.
Yeah, there's like ancient history.
Yeah,
There's
yeah.
it relates to Immortal Hulk, like all those
Mhm.
Green Door stuff. I feel like it's
Right,
attached
right.
to that. Yeah,
Yeah, much like, Spider-Man with the totems, it wasn't just, fate
right.
and all that kind of stuff, it's deeper. Yeah, I
Yeah.
understood that much about it.
Cool. All right. Let's move on. Let's talk about our number 5 now. So what was yours, Kat?
Mine was Black Cat issue 4. Like you said, I do think it is a book that is improving, but it isn't perfect yet.
Mhm.
I really liked the conversation between her and Tombstone. Like Tombstone being like, "Oh,
That is my number 5, by the way, just to let
there
you
you
know.
Oh,
go."
nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I like Tombstone's like, "What are you doing here? Like, why do you want to be good?" And kind of, delving into that. I liked her relationship with Night Nurse. I want to see where that goes. So I like the, like you said, I like the potential of the book, and I thought
Yeah.
this issue brought potential. But then there's some slogs too. Like I do think it needs to like go a little bit quicker than it has been. But I like this issue.
Nice. I liked it too. I think it was a little bit of a slower issue for me than previous issues. I don't
Hmm.
know, there was just something not there was something missing for me in this issue. I don't know, I can't put my finger on it. It just wasn't as good as the previous 3 to me, but I still enjoyed it, obviously.
Yeah.
I
So
lost you
you
guys
might.
there for a second.
I
So
Oh,
saw
did you?
you were staring,
yeah,
and I was
I
like,
think
Ah,
my
"Is Mike
internet
still?"
like went out.
gotcha.
Um
Uh,
anyway,
yeah, Brant was just giving his opinion, but you said it was your number 5.
yeah. What I was going to say was you know how you said you like the conversation between
Mm.
internet I'm like
Tomb
talking thinking
Between
about
between
internet.
internet and
Tombstone and
Between Tombstone and Black Cat. What's it called? I love that too. And I
Mm.
like
yeah.
seeing the distinctive between how he views himself
Right.
and how she views herself. And like he's like, "Oh yeah, you can, you got that pouty face and you have you got that V-neck, that low cut shirt." And he's like, "And then you got me." He's like, "Look at the way I look." And she's like explaining to him like, "Hey, I got to use my assets the way I need to." Like I love that whole conversation on how,
Mhm.
you know, uh how they both get by in order to kind of get what they want type
Yeah.
of situation. And
That was
I
the
loved
strongest
how
part of the issue, yeah.
what was that?
That was the strongest part of the issue, yeah.
Yeah. And I do like how she was like in the cell and trying to turn her bad luck around and all that other stuff too. So it was good, man. And I like the artwork in this book, and it continues to be solid. Again, you can tell that not a lot happens,
Right.
right?
Mhm.
From
Right.
first issue to fourth issue. But this has led me to believe that again, she's in this series for the long haul. It's not here for like 12 issues or 13 issues. So let's hope that people buy this book and it continues to go on, kind of like Poison Ivy has gone.
And it's
Yeah.
a bit of a slice of life book too. So if you accept that, I think you'll enjoy
Yeah.
it. Like you could enjoy
Right.
you don't not, not all action and plot has to move to be a good book. So
Yeah.
All right. And so what was your number 5, Brent?
Mine was Green Lantern number 29, and just because it felt like a classic story. You had Green
Yeah.
Lantern and Green Arrow teaming up, and it just felt old school. It felt fun. Obviously they address what's going on with Hal and all that stuff, and kind of harken back to him seeing his name in the Book of Oa and all that stuff. But we don't spend too much time on it in this issue. It was literally just a team up issue, which I had a lot of fun with.
and I think you needed that palate cleanser
Yeah.
because we were just going from an event and now going to
Right.
kind of another event. So it was nice to have that kind of filler issue. It was my number 6. I liked it too. I thought
Yeah.
it was fun.
Yeah, this is just right outside my top 5 too. This was one of those books where I was like, "Oh, it's cool to see these guys team up. You don't always get to see it." And
Yeah.
my favorite thing was when they created the construct with the bow
big
and
Yeah,
arrow.
the bow and
arrow.
arrow
Oh
is
my
fun.
god, that thing was awesome, dude. I
Yeah.
was like, that's so much fun right there. But
Yeah.
yeah, their interactions with each other was just it was great, and
Yeah.
it's like, man, I would like Jeremy Adams to write a Green Arrow and Green Lantern book on a regular basis.
Oh,
That could be
yeah.
great.
That'd be fantastic.
You never know. I would like that. I know he just went off core, but I would like to see him write a bit more because
Yeah.
he's
Yeah.
great.
Absolutely. Okay, so let's see. We're gonna move on now to let's talk about this one first. Daredevil and Punisher, the Devil's Trigger, issue 1. So this book was fine for what
Mhm.
it was. I mean, it
Yeah.
wasn't anything great or grand or fantastic. It was like your almost like run of the
Run of the mill.
mill,
Yeah, literally.
like
We're just saying
street level type of, hey, these are the bad guys, these are the street level characters and the gangsters, and we're gonna team up together and we're gonna run this town. And it's like, I'm Punisher and I'm gonna shoot the guy that I think is bad, and I'm gonna do it my way. Daredevil, you can't interfere. Like, it was very much, we've seen this story before,
Oh, totally. Yeah.
right? But it was fun. It
Yeah.
was fun for what it was.
Yeah, I thought it was fine. I think it's hard when there's so many books out, and when you're
Mhm.
reading a Punisher book that you like, and you have a new Daredevil book coming out. So I'm like, I don't know
Yeah.
if I need this, but if you love these characters, you should pick it up because you'll probably
Yeah.
have fun with it.
Yeah, but it was totally a classic Daredevil Punisher story.
Right.
This could have existed in any era of these characters, and
Right.
yeah, it was just it's fine though. There was nothing
Are you
wrong
guys
with it
getting
at all.
more? Or are you done after this?
I
Yeah.
might.
I don't know.
It's like it's one of those. It's same thing. It's one of those
Yeah.
things where I think it's going to depend on the week.
Yep.
Yeah.
Same.
I probably will not get issue 2 because of again, I just have a feeling the haul is going to be large unless I'm getting like
Right.
10 books, which
Yeah.
these days you're not.
Exactly. Yeah. And thanks,
Well,
Comic Toby, for the super sticker. I know
Yes,
Cap
thank you.
showed
yeah,
up on
thank you so
screen.
much. Much appreciated. Let's see. Oh yeah, there was a point. Did you guys notice the Twin Towers in that issue?
I
I
don't
did
think I
not.
did.
No.
I'm not
Yeah, I did. I
surprised
actually did.
because it's Jimmy Palmiotti who,
Mm,
definitely New Yorker.
yeah.
But I didn't notice that. So that really shows it was an out of era
Yeah.
comic then.
Yeah,
For sure.
Yeah, that's cool.
because I right away when I saw that, I was like, oh, this got to take place in the past then.
Mhm.
Yeah. That makes
So,
sense.
all
It would have
right,
had
so
to anyway, given
Right.
where both of those characters' journeys were.
Right. But sometimes they tell stuff that are like out of
Right,
pocket,
right.
but then also still like in continuity.
Sure.
All right, so let's talk about what do we at? Absolute Batman issue
Yeah.
14. Holy
Yeah.
crap. This issue was kind of wild, man. I was just like, this battle between Bane and Batman was just insane. This is
Oh
something like
man.
you would say like out of anime or something like that. I
Yeah.
mean, Bane got so physically large. I was like, how is this even possible for someone to get this big? It's just
And Batman's
crazy.
still fighting him, and he's still. You know what's interesting about this, because I think action issues are great when they're earned, and I felt like this was a book where it was an earned moment.
Yeah.
So you're like, oh yeah, bring all the action, give all these moments, because you're like, you got to this, yeah, it's deserved, you know.
Yeah, when his when you thought he was just at his limit, and then his like, spine bust open, and
Yeah,
throws some more. It's like, oh my god,
it's like,
Yep.
gee whiz.
And now
But
I'm
he's
curious
not-
what Joker is going to be. If
Oh, man.
how is Joker going to be a bigger
right?
demon
Yeah.
than Bane? And Bane like was cover up the whole page with how big
But
he
at the
became.
end, you saw like Bane's eyes and his brain was still
Yeah, it's
there.
just like his central
Yeah.
nervous system. That's it. And
Yeah.
his brain.
It's like, oh, well, you haven't seen the last of him. He's just got to reform again. Might take a little while this time.
That's
But don't
nuts.
you like how like they just like dumped him in the ocean, like the
Yeah.
rest of the body parts? I was like, oh my gosh, that's crazy. And I did like Killer Croc in there too, trying to
Yeah.
assist. I thought that was really, really awesome.
I liked how they. Oh, that's really cool.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's pretty awesome. I liked how they kind of flashed back to his fight as Waylon, in you know, kind of interspersed that as
Yes.
well, kind of comparing the two fights. Yeah, that was fun. But yeah, it was just a fun action heavy issue, and like you said, it was earned, Cat, but it was a spectacle for sure.
No,
Yeah, it's one of those
great.
things where just it built up to that, and then you got to that. It was like that heavyweight fight, man, and that's what it was. So,
But again, I'm curious what this next issue is going to bring, because you had this such heavy.
I tell you what,
fighting.
man, people are going to be
I know, going
all
crazy
over that book. I mean,
it's been all over the internet too, because people have seen the design and they're like, "That looks crazy." You know,
you're going to get people who are not even comic collectors going to be buying that.
Oh, absolutely.
A lot of spec buyers. But yeah, it wasn't even. It's only one issue though, so I'm just like, oh, I'm curious. Obviously, I'm sure he'll show up again, but I'm like, oh yeah, it's just It's just like one shot.
All right, so let's move on here. Let's talk about number 4. Brant, what was your number 4?
Mine was actually this. I think it's a Black Label book, Batman Green Arrow: The Question, Arcadia. I actually really like this. It was.
I'm glad you liked it. I did not.
You hate it. I figured you would.
I didn't like it either. So
I didn't think either one of you would. Yeah.
But you like mysteries a lot, so I can understand why you enjoyed it. But for the very reasons you enjoyed it, and I like mysteries, but it was just like so much more about the mystery than the characters that I'm like, I don't know if I'm too invested.
As I was reading this, I was like, they're gonna be like, why did you like this? But yeah, it was the mystery. It felt very noir to me. I don't know. I liked these 3 characters together, you know, kind of balancing each other out, and I don't know. It was just a fun time for me.
Again, you like those style of stories. The one thing I think threw me off was the art, though. I think the art was like very stylized. Maybe a little too dark, but
it was very.
That was some. Yeah, it was just like I couldn't get into it for some reason. Oh, I think Mike.
Oh yeah.
Oh, there he is.
I'm back.
Yeah.
Sorry, the internet's like acting up for some reason.
Nah, you were like that book. Nah, I'm just.
I'm out.
Yeah, I'm like, I'm out, man. I'm done with this. Okay, so I'm glad you liked it, Brant. I just personally I like the artwork. I like the grittiness of it. I love how it like took place in a different time.
Yeah.
Right. But dude, I just couldn't get into the story. I'm just like, oh my God. I'm like, it was like I wanted to see them more together, and I get it set up. But it was like Batman's doing this, and then you got the Question doing that, and you got Ollie doing this, and then he's feeling sorry for himself because he was casted out of the company and whatnot. And I'm just like, I'm not feeling it. And it was one of those books where it was like, it's just not for me. I think that's really at the end of the day what it was. And I think it was like one of my least favorite books of the week, unfortunately.
Yeah, no, I totally
story-wise, at least, anyway.
Yeah, I get that.
All right. So, Kat, what was your number 4?
Mine was DC K.O, so we already talked about it.
All right. And mine was the Infernal Hulk, and we already talked about that one.
Nice.
Okay. So let's move on to let's see, we're going on to we'll do Superman first. Superman issue 32. Man, this was, you want to talk about connected. If there is a
Mhm.
tie-in, this is the way you do a tie-in, though. I know there was a lot going on in it,
There was a lot
but
going on.
there is getting the explanation of how the villains were in, how they got into the tournament, I thought was super integral to the story,
Yeah.
right? Because I love that. And you got Superman automatically thinking, oh, it's like, oh yeah, you want to be part of, you're thinking that we're villains, and you're right away, you want to trap us. Did you ever think we would help you become a solution to the problem? And I
Right.
didn't even look at it that way. I'm like,
Yeah.
and Lex Luthor's right, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. And I thought this filled in the gaps that you needed for the main story pretty well.
Right.
And you also had like you have Lois and Superboy Prime trying to, secure these archives to take it to Superman so he has all the information that they think he needs and all this stuff. So yeah, a very very informational issue, and there was a lot going on, yes, but I think it was very necessary stuff for the story.
I agree. I like this issue. It's still Superman. I just wanted to love this issue, and I just felt like it tried tackling too much. Like I think they just had a lot of big things happening, and I don't know if it all had the amount of room. I wish they saved the Lois thing for another issue or saved the Lex Luthor thing for another issue, because they both seem like stories that could fill up the whole issue.
Mhm.
But I still liked it. It just missed my top 5. But
I
I
could see
enjoy the
that.
art. I like this series. I just expect it to be like my number 2 and 3. So I'm always a little disappointed when it's not in my top 5. But obviously it's not
I
the
could see
worst
how
book
you
of the week.
I could see how you feel like that
Mm,
because it was very like those two particular stories were very
it's just tight.
condensed.
No.
Yeah, but I don't know. I liked it. I liked it a lot, and I like the spotlight on Lois in this issue. Getting her powers back, kind of going through that, and like, okay, I'm gonna make the most of them. I really was fine, and all this stuff, and you got a little bit of there. I could see where you'd want more of it though. For sure.
The
Mhm.
biggest thing that maybe I wasn't a big fan of was like the robots at the end of the at the
I
end of
thought that
the
was a
issue.
nice kind of throwback,
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
I
to
just
the
was like, I don't
system.
know if I want to see that. Like, are they all going to get destroyed? Like, I was like,
Yeah.
but what's really, I mean, I get why they did it, but it was like, I don't know. It was just
Gotcha.
one of those things. Like, and
Yeah.
Lois is like, Clark, why aren't you talking to me? Like, I felt like,
That
I
was a
just felt
little
like
over the
she was
top.
like a little dumb there,
Yeah,
like,
I agree with
He's
that.
got other things he might be dealing with.
right.
I mean, surely
Um,
she knew about the robots. It
Okay.
yeah.
Comic Toby sit there and said, y'all didn't say anything about the number one Superman sold for $9
Now
million
we're talking
at a
about it.
9.0.
I'll say probably
Ah,
the reason we didn't talk about it is because we tend to talk about newer books, so we don't really
yeah,
talk about spec books as much. But cool, crazy.
I
I
did
mean,
not see that. Yeah, that's
first
wild.
Superman ever for $9 million though, like that's crazy though. Like
No, it's
being
crazy. Yeah.
being that it's a 9.0 is even better
It
though,
was
Oh,
in
because
like
that's a,
man.
someone's attic, or yeah, it was in like
yeah,
someone's attic,
yeah,
and
it's
they
like,
I
noticed.
can't
god dang,
imagine
it's
finding
sitting
a
in an attic
9.0
all
of
that
that. Yeah.
time.
Yeah,
You would think that it would disintegrate,
right.
and it
It
just
must
never
have been
did.
sandwiched between something. Honestly, it probably was like
Yeah.
something. It was probably between 2 other books, and
Yeah.
it probably kept it that way.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was between the Spider-Man issue 1 and
Right.
the Hulk issue
Right.
1.
Or they're buying their $1 million house now. But
Yeah.
I think what's more of an interesting story there too is like that house being in those generations too, because like a lot of times houses get sold, like it's not,
Mhm.
or maybe it was from somebody else, like a different, like not their family member, but it read like it was from a family member. But yeah, no, it's cool, but that's the reason we didn't bring it up. It's just that usually we talk about newer books, but it's it's cool I hope that that person enjoys their money, and I'm
Yeah.
guessing they probably sold it to a museum or something, because I think
Yeah,
Mhm.
that's where they end up usually.
especially a book like that.
Yeah.
Or a celebrity.
Or celebrity, yeah. Post Malone took it.
Yeah.
Mhm. All right, so then let's talk about Feral issue 18. So we had Feral issue 18. This is they're still in Pet City, right? And
I think they're gonna be there for a while, it seems
yeah,
like.
Yeah.
you do have like the CDC there
Yeah,
kind
it's
of
the first time we've
scoping
seen
out,
them in a while. Yeah.
right? But you do have Lucky, who now has somehow declared himself the leader, and he's shacking it up with Gigi and her kittens, and
everyone else.
we do find out an important role with Gigi at the end of this comic. And I did find it very interesting because it was like Lucky is so out for himself, and you wind up getting to see Elsie just kind of spying on him. And you know, it was kind of interesting to see how, like, his take. He's like, he tells everybody what they want to hear, but obviously it's not in their best interest.
Well, there's also these cats. I think I read this correctly. There's those cats. I don't remember where they're from, but that Lucky was talking to. They're like, there's other kittens that we can eat. It's like, not those kittens, but like later on, there's gonna be kittens we eat, and like you should get more kids to eat them. And I was like, that's kind of crazy.
I think those were the Pet City cats.
Yeah, the Pet City
there.
But now that she's pregnant, that's something to worry about. Because there's a promise that the other kittens are fine because they were alive, but this new cat.
Yeah, but I think he's lying about that too. He doesn't care about those kittens. He's just telling
no. But I think those other cats will attack for it though, and there could be, a little war.
They need to find a way to open that wet cat food, man. Like it was one of them trying to see them open it with their paws, and they're like, "Oh, I can't open this thing."
Yeah,
I don't know how they're gonna do it though. They're gonna have to find somebody like a monkey or something.
I mean, now that the CDC's there, if they actually go in, I mean, that's probably where it's gonna head. But otherwise, like there's not enough of the good ones to combat the bad ones. So it's like, what are they gonna do? It's
it really reminds me of like the Governor Walking Dead stuff, like around that point.
He thought
like,
he's real good.
It reminds me a lot of the Walking Dead in general. But I mean, this is where we're finally getting payoff to all those like kind of slower issues to kind of get to moments like this.
The only thing that Lucky has though is he has Moosh, right? Like
the dog.
He has his dog, so it's like that's where he has the power play. You know,
maybe Elsie makes friends with Moosh and wins him over.
Maybe.
I don't know, man.
This shows this comic's kind of crazy, so like anything can happen. That's the one thing I do like.
It's very unpredictable, and that's it goes back to like the formula of The Walking Dead. The Walking Dead was very unpredictable as well, and I think this makes it even more unpredictable because you're dealing with cats.
Yeah.
Right. So like I feel like really anything is on the table here.
Absolutely.
So really good book. Okay. So let's move on to our number 3. And speaking of number 3, mine was Feral.
Mine was too, actually.
Mine was Absolute Batman. So we talked about it too.
All right. So we're just gonna move right along. We talked about Black Cat. The next book, I couldn't find this at my shop, or maybe I overlooked it, but I wound up going online and I read it today actually. And this is Devil on My Shoulder issue 1.
So it's the same. There's a creator who wrote it because I'm getting confused with it's Kyle Stark. So he's the one who did Peacemaker. Yeah. And I was like, I know I picked it up for a specific creator. So it's the person who did the previous Peacemaker miniseries.
Gotcha.
This was intense, man.
This book was really insane. Like I was like glued to it, especially in the very beginning of it. Like what these kids like did to this girl for like no reason whatsoever. I was like, oh my gosh, I cannot believe I'm reading this right now.
And the art style fit really well. And it's interesting because I've read someone, and I think it was a guy who said it. So it wasn't from like a woman's point of view. And they're like, this is too brutal. Like, it's just like anti-feminist. And I'm like, as a woman, like, I think the point is that she's going to fight back. Like you have to have this story to have the Kill Bill story. Right. So I was a little confused by that. Cause like, do you know what they're trying to do with this book? It's like, she's going to fight back and like all this, again, like it sucks that she had to go through that trauma, but like, we need to see the prelude before you get to the story. And this was the heavy, heavy prelude to get to see her be a badass, and like take ownership and like help people most likely, or at least help herself.
Yeah. Plus, as messed up as this is, this stuff actually happened.
Yeah, that too. Yeah. It's a real story.
And putting awareness to that kind of thing, I think is important, so we can hopefully eventually stop it.
And again, it is a story where a woman's taking her what's going on with her and doing something about it. It's
Yeah.
not like, oh, a man's gonna help her out. Like
Right.
it's her story. So I thought this you needed this issue to cut to get to where it's gonna go. And I thought this issue
Yeah.
exactly what you guys said. It was so brutal. You felt for her, and now you're like, I'm rooting for her to like
Mhm.
kill everybody.
Yeah.
Like now
Yeah.
you're like you feel for this girl,
And
which is what you want to feel in a
How she
comic.
survived though? Like I don't even know
Yeah.
how
I
she
don't either.
survived.
The narrative of her saying like they, you know, on day 1 they took this, on day 2 they took that,
Yes.
then they took
Yeah.
everything, and all this stuff, and just the way it built and built and built, and it's like, oh my god, I want to kill these guys. And
Right.
so now with her, you know, out for her revenge quest, it's like, okay, let's see what she can do to them in return and make it 10 times worse. I'm there for it. Let's go.
And like, why did she leave the hospital bed?
I don't know. That's a good
That'll be a
question.
question. Yeah.
Do you
I
think
don't.
do you think she felt like a prisoner in the
I can see
hospital?
that. Yeah, that could
Maybe.
be a reason. I also thought it was very interesting that we get the flash forward because you get to see these horrible boys now
Yeah.
become horrible men, right?
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, that's gonna be really interesting to see her like pick them one by one, as adults.
Yeah, and we still don't know like the ringleader, the one that was
Mhm.
just
The
watching
quiet
the whole
one,
thing.
yeah.
So we don't know
And
where he
also
comes
why
from.
it happened. And again,
Yeah.
I'm sure it is random, but it's just like, yeah, I
Yeah.
don't know. It really like drew me in. It
Mhm.
was just really psychological. And I'm glad you got to read it, Mike, because I was going to recommend it to you. Because I was like, oh, if you didn't read it, like it was like,
Yeah, I
it was
heard there was a
interesting.
couple other people that recommended it to me as well.
Mhm.
And I just remember, like, for some reason, I don't know why I didn't put this on my list. That I don't know, but so now I'm gonna have to remember to try to put it on my pull
Yeah.
list. How many
Yeah.
issues is this?
I think it's only like 5 or 4. I think it
Yeah,
is
it's
a
gotta
mini
be.
series. Yeah.
I
But Dark
can't
Horse
see
is
it
to
being
it too, at
more
least for
5.
me and Mike, because we had that other one, which was
American
that,
Paper.
yeah, American
Yeah.
Paper. Now this, and I'm like, and they both
Mm.
have the same tone that I'm really enjoying, like this thriller types genre that I think they're doing really well with.
Yeah.
Right.
See.
Okay, cool.
It is a mini series.
Yeah, I don't know if it's 4, 5, but it's good.
4 issues.
4. That
4?
makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, awesome. All right, so then let's move on to our number 2. My number 2 was Absolute Batman.
Nice.
And what about you, Kat?
Mine was Feral, so we already talked about it.
Brant?
Mine was actually Superman.
Okay, cool. All right. So, and then we're just going to go to our number 1 because we talked about that book too. So, my number 1 was DC K.O. That was my number 1.
Mine
And
is
what about you, Brant?
Yeah. DC
Yours
K.O.
too?
Yeah.
Okay.
Mine was The Devil on My Shoulder. I was really
Nice.
impressed by that
Yeah,
one.
it was
I-
just outside mine too.
I could probably honestly say if like I didn't already have my 5
Mhm.
set, that book probably would have been in there for sure.
Yeah.
It was just really good. I love a book that surprises you, like when you don't expect it. Because again, a DC K.O. for me, and it was in my top 5. I'm already expecting it to be great, so it's like, oh yeah, it was great, of course.
Yeah.
Absolute Batman. I'm expecting it to be great. It was great. But when you have a series like that where you're not expecting anything and it moves you, for me,
Yeah.
that's
As
important.
as we were talking about it, I considered, should I just make that my number 2 and forget Superman? But I was like, nah, I'll stick with it.
Right.
I had a tough time like deciding. I'm not
Yeah.
gonna lie. Like there were some really good books this week. Like
Yeah.
whether it was like Absolute Batman or DC K.O. and I'm just like,
Feral even.
what
Yeah.
and what?
Feral was another one
Oh, and
that was
Feral,
really good
yeah.
issue.
And
Yeah.
so like I think the reason why I gave the edge to DC K.O. for me was because it's main continuity. And I just felt like we haven't gotten like a decent, like a really decent DC K.O. event that takes place in main continuity with all these different heroes and villains in such a long time.
Yeah.
And I think that's why I gave this one the edge over
Same.
Absolute Batman, even though it was a phenomenal issue.
Yeah. Same. It's the best event from any company we've gotten in quite some time. So
I think
Right.
for me, Absolute Batman got a little bit of edge just for the things I said before, where it's like it felt more personal just because
Sure.
we've been building to that moment.
Yeah.
And the action was just kind of wild. But I think DC K.O. has a lot of promise. I'm really excited to see
Yeah.
where it's going for sure.
Yeah. There were a lot of
And
good books. Yeah.
And nothing for nothing for you, Kat, to stick with an event is
I know,
says something in
seriously.
itself. It's got to be pretty good.
100%. No, and also be excited for it, not even just a stick, but to be like,
Right.
I'm looking forward to the next issue. Because yeah, most events they don't do anything, so I'm like, oh, I don't want this. They're boring. But when an event is like this, it's exciting because that's what I like. Again, King in Black, I felt that way. War of the Realms, that's why I was stuck with them. But like a One World Under Doom, I'm like, I'm good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's a good event.
All right. Well, Brand, I'm going to pass it to you now so you can talk about the most anticipated of the week.
A lot of books next week, guys, tomorrow. So again, I'm getting like 16, 17 books. It's another big week.
Yeah.
So get ready.
It's crazy. And we do have some DC K.O stuff to talk about in this list. I'll go with my number 3 to start us off because it's going to be really brief. Fantastic Four number 6. It seems like another. It might be a 2-part story.
I might be one actually. I think it's another one shot.
I thought it
maybe
was,
I'm wrong.
Yeah, it's Invincible Woman. I think is.
You're right. I think it is 2-part because I remember there was another Invisible Woman. I was like, oh, I think Invisible Woman's next. So you, I think you are right. It is 2-part.
Okay, so I mean, right away,
3 parts.
is it 3 parts? Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Right away, focusing on Sue. I'm excited for it, and I'm always excited when we get stories focused on Sue. But just the cover looked like classic Fantastic Four stuff too. So and just as good as the series has been, I'm just excited.
It's so interesting. That almost made my list too. There's Nightfall that's on Mike's list. We'll talk about later. There's so much that almost made it, but it was. I was trying to be different, but like it was a hard week because there's just a lot. There's a lot of books that are also like issue 2 to 3, so it's not like I'm excited for this issue 1 because I want to know what's about. It's like it's a lot of continuations of series. So
yeah, there's actually only one issue 1 on our entire most anticipated this week.
There you go.
Yeah, and
it's a continuation too.
Yeah, of course. And I was tempted to just like copy both of you, and I was like, okay, I'll throw in a few different things here, but so let's talk about Batman number 4, another series we're all loving since it rebooted and everything. So that's number 3. Yeah,
I just really love this book. I think I'm actually going to do. I have right now a topic depending on when I read my books how I feel, but right now. My topic for my show I do on Wednesday is Absolute Batman overshadowing Matt Fraction's Batman. We'll see if something ends up taking that spot. But I was like, that's so interesting because I think people are almost like underlooking this book because Absolute Batman's just been such a giant. But I'm like, you guys got to pay attention to what's going on here because it's so good, And DC K.O is overshadowing it. It's just like, but also Batman. Like this is like classic Batman story in continuity, and it's really good.
Yeah.
A lot of people like to jump on, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
like this,
they've been burned enough.
Check out the new and shiny, cool ass modern day Batman.
Yeah. There's a lot of bad books too, and it's like Immortal Legend Batman. It's like, I mean,
there's enough, right? There might be enough Batman,
right? We're coming to the end of that.
Yeah,
it is. Yeah, and it's Elseworld, but then also wasn't there recently a Batman Beyond book, and it's like a similar thing. So I think we just have a lot of Batman books, and I mean, and that doesn't even include the Batgirls or the the whatevers. Like that doesn't. We're back but at least they're all good. Like I don't mind a lot of Batman books if they're all good.
Right, but don't sleep on Batman. It's a good series. All right. I'm gonna save that one. Let's go to Venom number 252. Stick with cats right now. Again, another series we're all reading. I think we're all reading all of these actually, and enjoying most of them.
For me, the reason I picked this is the cliffhanger.
With the new
right?
Spider-Man,
I'm interested in that, and it's a series that never lets me down. Because it's always a book that's fun. Even if it's not in my top 5, there's something fun that MJ does with Venom that always makes it a cool read.
Yeah. I mean, I'm curious on the whole blue and red Venom character that can all of a sudden change colors now. So I'm curious. And the book has been solid, but I do need an update on Paul. Like I need to see how he moved out, where he went to, what's he doing with himself now. Like
we're gonna get that mini series. We're gonna get a whole series, so don't you worry.
It's so funny.
The day in life of Paul.
Yeah.
User Paul.
I wonder. I would pick it up. I don't know if it makes sales, but I'd pick it up.
It's so funny. I remember a time where we were like, "Can we just get rid of Paul? Let's just kill Paul." Now we're
Now we
like,
just want
"Where's
him
I
back.
think
Paul?"
within the pages of Spider-Man, I
Yeah.
think he is horrible. But
Yeah.
I think in this Venom book, I loved how he
It's
was
comedic
like
gold. Yeah.
he just got dogged on by Dylan, and Mary Jane breaks up with him, and he just like spirals out of it just spirals downhill. I'm curious if it does turn into something though. Like, what happens if it makes him super evil and he
Like
goes in this
Carol's boyfriend.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. So
Yeah,
I don't
I
know.
just think that's comedic, and I think we are going to continue that. It's like, oh, poor Paul. I don't know if he's going to become a villain, but I do think we'll see more of Paul. I think Allowing knows. Allowing knows the tone of this book. I think that's again why I'll keep saying it's what's special about Venom. Is that is it the best series out there? No, but is it a weird tone that kind of works?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
It's
different.
a soap
Yeah.
opera book. And again, it's focused around Mary Jane, like we talked about. Like, she's the actress and she's starring in her own soap opera.
Yeah.
It's fun
Pretty much.
with Venom along for the ride.
Yeah.
All right, then my number 2 is GI Joe number 15, just continuing the Dreadnought War. Just
How long is this war? Is it?
It's only 5 issues.
Yeah,
No, it's
5
not bad.
issues. Yeah.
I feel
then
like
it's coming out.
like been 2 parts so far. This is gonna be the second or okay.
It's
Third.
coming
This
out
will be the third, yeah.
bi-monthly
Third.
too, so it's going to be over with real quick.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, it'll be over in a month. So, and then I think the art changes for an issue or 2 after that.
Oh, does it? I didn't realize that.
I don't remember. Maybe I'm thinking of something else. I think
There's
there
so
might
much Skybound. It's hard to keep track.
Yeah, I'm thinking there's another artist that comes in for an issue or 2 and then it goes back. I don't remember it exactly though. But yeah, it's just exciting. It's a fun time for GI Joe fans. And then we'll get to Mike's number 3 and 2, and that's why I saved them. They're both DC K.O. tie-ins. We've got Superman versus Captain Atom is the first one we'll talk about.
It's the only one I think that's diverse.
This week.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then next week I think there's a lot of them.
Yeah.
But this is so this is what everybody has wanted, right? So this is where you actually get to see the fight. You wind up getting to see Superman versus Captain Atom, and it's going to be probably balls to the wall action. And again, this is what everybody wanted. And I'm curious to see what that fight is, especially the first issue of it. How much detail goes into it. Is there going to be a lot of story, or is it just going to be punch after punch after punch after kick and whatever it is? Like, I want to see that.
I want to see who's writing it. Captain Atom, because I also sometimes it depends on the writer.
Could be Joshua Williamson.
Yeah,
I think it is.
Joshua.
I think it's Joshua. Yeah, it's Joshua Williamson.
Yeah.
So, and Sean Izekeze, which I think was the artist on Robin for a while. So yeah, I mean, if it's Joshua Williamson, and I remember being very impressed with all the creative teams that were going to be on these verse books. So I'm like, oh yeah, I think it's going to be more than just a verse match. That was another one so close to being on. There's so many that were so close to being my most anticipated because there's reasons to be excited for them.
Yeah, for
this
sure.
is the first verse match.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think this will set the tone for how the rest of them are going to go. So
especially with Williamson writing it.
Right. Yeah. So I'm very curious about this one.
Oh, it's his Green Arrow run. Thank you for correcting me. I know he had previously been on a run, so it's his Green Arrow one.
Okay. And then DC K.O. Night Fight number 2. This is the Batman book. How he's getting back into the tournament and everything, and he's fighting other Batmen in this book.
Yeah. Another futuristic, but I think that was my only turn off. Where I was like, I've seen this before, so we'll see where this ends up going.
But it's cool though. I like the different Robins and Dick being Batman and all those different things, and it's the towers everywhere, and I loved how Batman was kind of thrown for a loop. He was like, "Oh, I'm supposed to be back at Gotham, but wait, it's way into the future." So it was interesting.
Speaking of Batman DC K.O. books, I'm really excited for. I think it comes out next week. I'm really excited for the Jason Todd first Joker book. I think that's gonna be really great.
Oh man,
yeah,
a lot of history there.
Yeah,
to say the least. All right, cast number 1, Absolute Green Lantern, issue number 9. I know this focuses on Joe, but I think Hal is in this issue as well.
Yeah, it's a continuation of where they left off.
Yeah.
I don't know if we talked about it here. We might have taken off that week, but I really liked the last Green Lantern issue. I really love the
Mm.
origin. No, we did. Maybe I think we did end up talking about it. I really like the origin story. So I want to, now that we have all that baggage, I want to see what it's like now that she's going to talk to Chase and ask for this favor.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. So
Yeah, I was excited. Like, I'm excited too because I finally got an issue where it's exactly what I wanted,
Mhm.
where we
yeah.
dove into the characters a little bit more, and it didn't all talk about mythology and the core and everybody else, and it's just like I wanted it to be a little bit more grounded, because
Yeah.
it wasn't grounded since we pretty much started the series,
Mm.
so it took a time away from the action there and just said, hey, here's Joe. Here is the wife. You know, here's who she hooked up with. Like, well, I liked that stuff. I just
Yeah.
you got to see the type of character she is.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
she's not perfect by any means.
Well,
By any,
No, not at
That makes
yeah.
all.
the best characters, though.
Yeah. I'm excited for it.
Yeah, me too. And then the final book we have to talk about is Mike's and Mine #1, which is Rook Exodus issue #9. So just, I mean, we talked about the art earlier in the show about this book, and it's phenomenal art alone. If you love art, get this book. But the story is really good too. So,
Yeah, absolutely. And this is the one where they're going to have the arachnid
yeah.
warden introduced.
Oh man.
So man, I can only imagine what that's going to be like,
Giant
dude.
spiders everywhere. That's gonna
Oh,
be
just
that's
you
gonna be
even went
creepy.
into the
Yeah.
cave in the last issue and you saw
Yeah.
spiders everywhere.
Yeah.
So that's the detail that's got to go into that is absolutely insane.
Oh, it's gonna be gorgeous and creepy at the same
Yeah,
time.
yeah. So definitely looking forward to that.
Absolutely. And with that, that's it. That's all our most anticipated.
All right. So with that being said, then that wraps up the show. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. No news, but we did fill it in with some questions and obviously some DC K.O talk and Stranger Things talk and Wicked talk. See, we always find something to talk about, right?
We
Yeah.
do.
So yeah, absolutely a lot of fun, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in this evening. Hopefully you will have a good comic book day tomorrow and you find everything that you're looking for. And stay tuned for next week for another episode. And as always, don't forget to subscribe to our channels, Comic Uno, Only Good Comics, my channel, Comic Book Corner 2.0. And guys, have a wonderful evening. And like I said before, we'll see you all next week. Take care, everyone.
Bye.